Hello, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Becky Sechwe, a UK registered nurse, but I do videos on a lot of different topics. So someone asked me to do a video about the step-by-step guide to applying for UK visitors visa. So if you've been trying to apply or you are thinking of applying for UK visitors visa, you need to tune in to watch this video to the end. Anyway, so I'm going to be covering several parts of the application process. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very long, but you will benefit from this. So watch out. So you're welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you've come across my channel, please remember to like, subscribe and share. Also, you need to click on the notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you would actually be notified, so you can hear all the exciting information I have to share with you. So back to the topic of the day, which is step-by-step guide to UK visitor visa application. So this discusses the application form, I would say. There are about 10 different parts to the form. The first part is about yourself. The next one is about your passport information. The third part covers your contact details. The fourth part would cover your family details. The fifth part would cover your previous application and travel history. The sixth part would be about the visit or as a visitor. The seventh part covers travelers who are under 18 years of age. And then there is information about specific visas section. There would be something about additional information and declaration. The form is quite small, as you know. I like to wear my glasses to read, so it's going to be a long video, but you need to bear with me if you want to get all the information you need. So let's look at the first part of the UK visa or visitor visa application form information. So this is guidance only. So first of all, they want to know what your name is. So first part is about giving name. So this should be the same name which is recorded on your passport. They are normally all the names you were born or given at birth. You were born with or given at birth, but not your family name, which is your surname actually, which you have to also write at another stage. So first part, giving names, so all your names as it is on your passport. And then 1.2 would be your family name. So if they ask for your family name, that is your surname or family name. So you're going to be writing your family name or surname, or some people refer to that as your last name. So family name is the same as your surname, your last name, or whatever you call it. And then the third section would ask about other names, including names that you were known by. So you have to write those as well. And then 1.4. So one is divided to about 10 sections, only part one. So 1.4 is about your sex or your gender, I would say. It says this should be your sex at the time of application. So you need to put that there. Unless single, please provide evidence of your marital status as well. So if you're married, you would have to make sure you have your marriage certificate, partnership certificate, your divorce certificate or death certificate if unfortunately you are a widow or widower. And then let's look at civil partnership. You and your same, whether you are in a same-sex relationship, you have entered into a civil partnership which is legally recognized and documented. So you need information about that. If you are not married and you are an unmarried partner, you currently live in a marriage-like relationship with your partner without being legally married as well. And then divorce or dissolved partnership as well. So you need to show if there is any information, any letter, any certificate from a divorce court, or any documentary evidence to show that you're no longer together. If you're widowed, as you said, you would get you would have to get death certificate and things like that. Or if you were legally married as well, you need to show evidence. If you're separated, you and your partner or spouse no longer living together as a married couple and would normally live apart, but you have not finalized your divorce proceedings or terminated the marriage. Now, so that's about evidence about those sort of relationships. So they want to know about all those things. And then the next bit is about your date of birth. So with the date of birth, it comes in the format of the day, which is, let's say today is the 1st of April, the month, which is 0104, which is the month April, and then the year, let's say 2023 or whatever. So that is how we write date of birth in the UK: the day, the month, and the year, and the place of birth. So this is the village or the city where you were born, and which is what is on your birth certificate. So you need to put in your place of birth. There is a section about your country of birth as well. First of all, place of birth, which is the town, village, or whatever, and then the country of birth, you have to put that as well, which is the same thing which appears on your passport. So anything on your passport, you need to put that there as required. Another thing is about your nationality. So they want to know, are you a Ghanaian? Are you a Nigerian? Are you an Indian? Wherever. So you write that down. And then, do you hold or have you ever held any other nationality or nationalities? So the answer would be either yes or no. So if yes, they would ask you to provide which other nationalities you have. So if you're a dual citizen, a Ghanaian and a British, or Ghanaian and a Nigerian, they would want to know which nationalities as well. So let's go to, I think I've skipped part 2. Part 2 is about your passport information. So they want to know the details of your passport or travel document that you would use to travel to UK. So they would want to know the expiry date, or sometimes they would want to know the date of issue, the date of expiry, and things like that. So let's go to part 3 of the application process or application form. As I said, this is just a guide. So they would like to know your contact details. So the first one would be your full address and a postcode. I know certain countries we don't have postcodes, but if it is a PO box or whatever, you have to put it. So this is the address where you live rather than your family home. So where you are living, they want that address. You must include all the full residential address details as well, house number and all those things. And then 3.2, they want to know how long you have lived at this address. So you need to write how long have you been living there. And the 3.3 is home and landline telephone number. Actually, in Ghana, do we have? I don't think we have landlines. I can't remember when I left 20 years ago, we didn't have landline. Some people have home telephones. Yes, that's right. But these days, people have mobile phones. So you need to put your home or landline phone numbers. And then they also, with the country code as well, they also want your mobile telephone number as well. Including the country code. They want your email address. If you have no email address, please enter none. And then they want your contact details if different from those that you have given in question 3.1, which is your full address and things like that. So this is just a guide once again. Part 4, they want to know about your family. So that has a lot of information there. So first of all, they want to know your father's given name. So what are the given names of your father, or the name he was given at birth? So your father, let's say my dad, bless his soul, may he rest in peace, he was Emmanuel. So you put Emmanuel and whatever. And then they want to know your father's family name. His name is Sechere, just like my name. So I'll put all those things. And then they would want your father's date of birth, just like once again, the day, the month, and the year. And then they want your father's place of birth. Oh God, that's a lot of information. Where was your father born? The city, the village, or whatever. You have to put that there. They want your father's nationality. Is he a Ghanaian? Is he a Nigerian? Is he an Indian? Is he a British? Is he an American? So you need to put all that there. And then the next section is about your mother. Actually, the form can be very exhausting. They want to know your mother's given names. Maybe my mom was Victoria, bless her soul, may she rest in peace again. So she was Victoria. So I'll write all those. And then they would want her surname as well. So you need to write your mother's family name. So the name by which your mother was born was known as well. You have to write that. Her date of birth, your mother's or nationality, or nationalities if she's a dual citizen, and then your mother's place and country of birth, you have to put that as well. The full name of your spouse. So if you're married, they want to know the name of your spouse, husband or your wife. And if you're single, then you go to 4 point something, so another section for that. So if you're married, they want to know what your partner's or husband or wife's nationalities are. And then their date of birth. Does your spouse or partner currently live with you at the address that you have given in section 3.17? Yes or no? And then there's about your mobile phone number. I've talked about that already, haven't I? Now, will your spouse or partner be traveling with you? So they would want their details as well. Are they traveling with you? I remember someone was asking whether they have to apply together. If you're applying with your wife or husband or with your children, each person needs a separate application form. So they would also want their details. And if the answer is yes, if they are traveling with you, note that he or she may also need a visa. That's what I was saying. They need a visa. Each person needs a visa, so you have to apply separately. Do you have any children? If the answer is yes, then you have to provide details of each of your children or dependent. Now, including those not traveling with you. So they want all the details of your children. And for each child, you should provide their full name, their date and place of birth, and passport numbers if they have one. If you require more space, so there will be space provided to write all those things. And then 4.18, do all your children currently live with you at the address that you have provided? If the answer is yes, you just say yes. If no, then you have to provide full details of where your children are living. And please list any of your children who will be traveling with you to the UK. So you have to list, if you're traveling with your children in your application, you need to list the names of your children who would be traveling with you. But you need to bear in mind that any children traveling with you may also need a visa. So you have to apply for them separately. Will any other children be traveling with you? So if the answer is yes, this is any other children under the age of 18 who are not your own children, but they will be accompanying you. You need to make sure they also need a visa, and there will be more requirement for that because you're going to be providing full details about the children, their age and everything. So the form would ask what you need to write. So let's go to part 5. We are halfway through. Now the part 5 is previous applications and travel history. So now the first one there, 5.1, is what are your current personal circumstances? So you may want to supply a full, current, independent and verifiable documentary evidence to support your statement. So they want to know your employment, what is your present work or job or occupation. So you have to write all that. What is the name of the company or organization you work for? So you need to write the name of your employers as well. You have to give the name, the company, organization you work for. When did you start working for this job? You have to write that. What is your work address? So you need all this information before you even start applying for a visa to visit UK. Now they want to know what are your employer's telephone number. So you need to provide the landline and mobile if they have that. What are your employers? What is your employer's email address? So they want your employer's email address, and you need to give details of any additional jobs or occupations that you have. And then another question, 5.9, have you ever worked for any organization of a type which is either state or not state or non-state organization which is listed below? The answer is yes or no. Then you have to write. So income and expenditure is another section, 5.10. It says, what is your total monthly income from all sources of employment or occupation? So they want to know how much you're earning. So please state your total monthly income after tax have been taken or deducted. State which currency, whether it's in US dollars or UK pounds or whatever. And so let's look at continuation of 5. For 5.11, it says, do you receive income from any other sources, including friends or family? If yes, you have to say yes, and you have to give details of all money you receive from any sources, including amounts and frequency. Please state which currency, US dollar, pounds, or whatever. 5.12, it says, do you have savings, property, or other income, for example, from stocks and shares? So this is things they want to know, whether you have something back home that would, pull you back rather than coming to stay in their country. So yes, if you have any, you have to state whatever property or whatever you have or savings that you have. 5.13, how much of your total monthly income is given to your family members and other dependents? So how much do you spend? So it's more or less like your expenditure. And they want that example in your state. Please state which currency, whether in dollars or pounds or whatever. And then how much do you spend each month on living costs? So they want to know how much you spend on living costs in your home country. This includes your rent, your mortgage, your utility, your loan repayment. So they want all your expenditures. These people, seriously. Anyway, what money is available to you for your trip? So here they want to know how much do you have to use for your trip. And it says, so what money is available for your trip? Please state which currency, example, dollars, pounds, or sterling, or whatever. And then 5.1 says, who will pay for your travel to the UK? So this is whether you're sponsoring yourself, whether your employer is sponsoring you, or whether someone in the UK is sponsoring you. So you have to put those details, because this will be persons paying the cost of your flight and any internal travel. Please give full names, anyone providing funds for your travel. If you personally are paying for your travel, please state myself. So on the form you can just say myself if you are sponsoring your own travel. And then 5.17, they want to know who will pay for your expenses such as accommodation and food. So if you're paying yourself, then you have to give details of how you are paying all these things for yourself. And if someone is inviting you, then you can show that I'm going to be living with this person, A, B, C, or D. So the form would say 5.18, if someone other than yourself is paying for all or any part of this visit, how much money will they give you? So you need to have all this information before you start applying for your UK visitor visa. They want to know this, whether they are paying part of your travel, you're paying all for yourself, or they are paying everything for you. And you need to state this in currency such as US or whatever currency, or UK pounds. What is the cost to you personally of your stay in the UK? Please state how much money your trip to the UK would cost you in total. Please state this either in US dollars or UK pound sterling or whatever. So once again, you have to plan and find out. If you don't know, go on Google and check. If you have someone in the UK who can tell you, you can check on flights and all those things and accommodation if you're not going to be staying with someone and you're paying for your own stay in the UK. So let's go to part 6. Part 6 is about the visitors. So have you traveled to the UK in the last 10 years? The answer is either yes or no. And it includes any holidays or travel for any other thing. 6.2, it says, have you traveled outside of your country of residence, including the UK, in the last 10 years? And it's yes or no. And they would want more information, whether it's for training or business trips or anything. They would like you to provide further information about that. Have you ever been refused a visa to any country, including the UK? You need to be very truthful when you are completing these things because they would find out. So just be careful. Have you ever been refused a visa? If you say yes, you have to say why. And it doesn't mean if you say yes, they will refuse you again. So far as you meet the requirement. 5.11, it says, do you receive income from any other? I think I've done that. Oh, sorry, I'm at 6. I don't know why I've gone back to 5. So anyway, 6.4, it says, have you been granted any UK visas in the last 10 years? Is yes or no? If it is no, then you have to say why. And if it is yes, it will say enter the reference number if known. So you have to find your last travel visa application reference number. So because it says, please give details of all UK visas you have been granted in the last 10 years. Please enter the reference number if known. This can be found on the previous visas in your passport. So you can find that information in your passport. 6.5, it says, have you been refused entry on arrival to the UK? So this is whether when you've arrived in the UK, they have sent you back or refused. If they've refused you before, they would want you to provide more information about what happened. So it's up to you to put that, and it is important for you to be truthful. 6.6, have you ever been deported, removed, or otherwise required to leave any country, including the UK, in the last 10 years? You need to put yes or no. If yes, you have to explain why. 6.7, it says, have you made an application to the Home Office to remain in the UK in the last 10 years? Is yes or no. If it is yes, they would want to know more information. Do you have a UK national insurance number? If it is yes, you say yes. If it is no, it's no. National insurance number is given to people who are living here and working anyway. So national insurance number allows you to work, which is what I've already said. And the number is usually provided on a plastic card. I think these days it has changed. I have a card, national insurance card. Anyway, have you been convicted of any criminal offense, including driving offenses in the UK or in any other country at any time? The answer is yes or no. If it is no, fine. If it is yes, you need to write. You have to provide details. 6.10, it says, have you been arrested and charged with any offense and are awaiting or currently on trial? Is yes or no. If it is yes, you have to provide further details. 6.11, it says, have you been subjected to or received any other penalty by a court or the police, for example, caution, discharge, fine, or community sentence in the UK or any other country? Is yes or no. If it is yes, you have to provide further details. 6.12, have you had any UK court judgment against you for non-payment of a debt or received a civil penalty under the UK Immigration Act? You need to put cross in the relevant box, whether it's yes or no. If yes, you have to provide further details. 6.13, it says, have you ever by any means or medium express views that justify or glorify terrorist violence or that may encourage others to terrorist acts or other serious criminal acts? So this is yes or no, and if you have, then you have to provide further details. Now, so another one is 6.14. Have you engaged in any other activities that might indicate that you may not be considered a person of good character. It's a yes or no. If it is yes, you have to provide further details. So the definition of 6.11 to 6.13 is at the bottom. There are things about genocide, whether you've ever committed act of genocide, whether you've committed a crime against humanity, whether you've been charged with war crimes, terrorism or terrorist acts, whether you work for organizations that are concerned in terrorism and things like that. We're getting there, don't worry. So part 7 is about travelers under the age of 18. So if you're traveling with someone under the age of 18, or you are traveling and you're under the age of 18, you need to provide full details about your parents, so they will know they want information about your parents or guardians in your home country. You would also what it says, will you be traveling to the UK alone? Is yes or no. If accompanied, you need to provide full details of up to 2 adults who would accompany you, including their passport numbers. So they need to know, if you're traveling with somebody, they need more information about those people. Is the address you will be staying at a private address? If yes, you say yes. If no, it's no. And you need to a private address is an address, is one owned by individual and not like a hotel. So private address is like, are you staying with somebody? And then another one is, please provide full details about the person you will be staying with. That is, if you're coming to stay with someone in the UK, then you need to provide their details. If the person named in section 7.1 is not a British citizen or EEA or European Economic Area citizen, you need to provide or give details about what permission they have to be in the UK. So they want to know whether, if you're coming to stay with someone, whether the person is legal or illegal. So they want to know what sort of visa they have. So this time you would be supplying a copy of their biodata page from their passport. So that's important. Part 8, we are getting there slowly. This is about specific visa anyway, visa specific sessions. If you are coming to visit the UK for tourism or leisure, you need to tell them what you're going to be doing in the UK. If you're here to do business, you need to say what sort of business you're going to be doing. If you're here to receive private medical treatment, you need to tell them about the treatment you're going to be receiving, how long it will last, and how much it would cost. And also, if it is for what do we call it, business and all that, they want to know what organization you would be visiting, or for tourism, and how would you be paying for all those things. And another thing is part 9, we're almost there, additional information. Please provide any other information you wish to be considered as part of your application, or use this section if you require any additional space to write about anything. So they'll provide extra space for you. And then part 10, finally, so when you get to part 10 is the part of declaration. So you would have to read before you sign. This must be signed by the applicant personally and not by representative or other person acting on his or her behalf. An application for a person under age of 18 may be completed and signed by the parent or legal guardian. So if this application is for a child, then the parent or the legal guardian can sign. So they would also ask, have you used an agent or representative to complete this application? The answer would be yes or no. And if yes, you need to provide details of this representative or the agent. And then it says, please provide details as requested. And what language did you communicate in with the agent? You have to provide details as well. And after that, you would sign your declaration to say, to the best of your knowledge, all the information you have put there are true and correct. So basically, in order for you to get to apply for UK visitor visa, these are the different parts, these are the different sections, and I've gone through with you. You can watch the video over and over again, and that would help you. So before you even start, you need to prepare, get all this information together. They want to know your parents' name, their date of birth, where they were born, and yourself, and all those things, your income, your employer's details, your educational institutions details. So those are the things. I hope this video has helped or will help someone out there who wants to visit the UK and tour or do something and go back, or even if you're visiting other countries, it would be on a similar process, although certain countries have other things they may add, they may ask you. So please feel free to comment, feel free to like, feel free to share, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I hope to see you again in my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.